Hello, welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast. My name is Mirella,
And I'm Zoe.
and today we're going to talk about the second half of episode 3 of Vice Versa.
Yes,
And we're starting with part 3.
we are. And 4 ads.
You mean before the episode starts, not inside the episode?
No, there was
Because
only one inside the episode. Before there was four, and then in the episode there was one. Hello, KFC.
hello.
But yeah, so it's we start the scene with Tale waiting for Pun, and he's dressed completely in pink. He's
Yep,
pretty in pink.
he is. And he gets a call or he calls him and he says, "Don't tell me you just wake up." And oh no, he's a new person now. He is there. He got serious. He's invested in this life. He's invested in doing it right. So he's responsible now and he's already there.
He's early.
And yeah, and Tale is like, wow, what an unusual day. And then he looks up at the sky, like, what do you expect to see there? Then they start talking about why he is there. He came there without even knowing why Poon needs him, just because Poon asked him to meet. And so he needs Tele's advice because he needs to write the screenplay and he does not expertise in romance.
Yes.
So Tele is like, use your dating experience. And then what a convenient way. Like, what's an opportunity to ask. So have you ever?
Yeah.
And he said, no, never. And then Poon asks Tale, have you? No, he's never been with anyone. And then he says he's single by choice.
What's interesting as well, before we get into that, it's interesting that, like, there's so many dramas that you watch and you think, like, you're pretty sure they've never had relationships because of the way the characters act and stuff, but you're
Mhm.
not explicitly told that. Like, you just make
Yeah.
assumptions or whatever. So I thought it was really interesting. This show, they tell you, no, there's never been a relationship. It's like, oh, okay, well, this is all interesting then. Now we're getting to see this for what it is. So,
Boone liked hearing that Tale never had anyone, and you could
mm,
see it on his face.
mm.
And then he says, well, maybe we should change that. Have you ever imagined a day you'd want to change that? And Tele says, I have. And then Boone pouts.
No, well, what he actually says to him, which I found, I keep saying I find things interesting, but it's because I literally find them interesting. But anyway, um, yeah, he says to him, "I'm single by choice," which means
Yeah.
like there's nothing like I feel like when someone says that to you, it's like it's my choice to be single. Like there's nothing wrong with me. I could totally be loved. Um, but
Or
yeah, he's like,
maybe it's like he got attracted to people in the past. He was interested, but he never did anything about it.
well, he talks about the fact that like this idea of working and his dreams takes up all of his energy and all of his attention.
Yeah.
So by choice, he chooses to ignore that side of him. And yeah, so he says, "I'm single by choice." And then what Poon actually says to him is, "Have you ever thought about being in love by choice?"
Hmm.
And he says, "Yes, when I was younger." And I was like, "Ooh, there's a story there." So something must have happened as well. Like he explains it away by saying, "I'm focused on working and my dreams." But
Mhm.
if you once upon a time, let's use that lovely fairy tale introduction, had the idea or the dream, let's say, of one day being in love,
Mhm.
but you now don't like love, or you don't believe in it, you have no interest in it, whatever, something
Mhm.
happened. There's something that happened in your past that made you feel that way or have that feeling or make that choice. Like he didn't just go, "Oh, I'm going to focus on my dream and my career." People do choose to do that, but the fact that he
Mhm.
said, like, when he would, like, obviously, like, a long time ago,
I'm
before he
thinking,
became cynical, I guess.
yeah, I did not read the novel. I don't know what happens in the novel, But I think I already told you, and it's not a spoiler anymore because I already told you, that when we get back, we do not see Talei's dad. We see his mom, but we do not see his dad. So I'm wondering, what if it's related to his dad not being there?
Yeah,
What
it
if
could.
this is why
Yeah, it
he
could
doesn't
be. I mean,
believe in love
let's
anymore?
face it, we do unconsciously build our relationships and our love languages and pathways and things like that by life experiences, by things we see. Like we mimic our parents, like especially when we're younger.
Unconsciously and
Mm.
consciously, because if
Oh
you
yeah,
see
too.
something very fucked up, you believe like, no, 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 this is not worth it. Going
Mm-mm-mm.
through all that is not worth it.
Yeah.
And you
So you're
consciously
right. It
decide
could
that
be that
love is
his
not for you.
parents' relationship didn't have the fairy tale ending or whatever, or like whatever. It didn't have that sustainable thing that made him think love wasn't worth it.
If you're listening to this and you read the novel, please let me know because I'm curious. Do
Hmm.
we know what's history in the novel? What
Yeah,
happened to
why he chose, why he, why by choice when he was
yeah.
younger thought about love and then changed his mind. Because I don't feel like it's just being focused on your career. I feel like maybe something happened and then that he used that to divert his energy into his career. That's what helped him get past it. But clearly he hasn't dealt with it because he has this like stigma of not liking love,
Not liking pink, which basically represents
which to
love. I
him
think that
represents
is,
love.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and it's like it was so funny when they started watching the character, like the not the character, the couple, and I strangely got like super invested in finding out whether or not they were dating or not, or whether they were like brother and sister or something. And I'm like, what is happening to me? Like, what is going on right now that I
I
was
think
like
you're
watching?
starting to get it. You maybe this is what's happening. There's this moment and vice versa when you feel like, I'm starting to get it.
I don't know. I just think I
You,
was just like, I don't know. I think they just sucked me in for some reason. It's just
right,
really
I
funny.
mean, you're starting to vibe and understand what the creators of the series what wanted you to feel,
It's so funny
where they were
because
going.
for our listeners anyway, I thought this week was not me week, right? And I was so excited because
Yeah.
I really wanted to watch another episode of Not Me, and I was like, and I was sure. I don't know why. I was totally convinced it was Not Me. I had
Hmm.
completely forgotten that we had already recorded for Not Me, and it was
Hmm.
vice versa's turn. And Morella's like, "No, it's vice versa." I'm like, "No." Like, it's not that I didn't want to do it or didn't want to watch it, but I was like sad because I was so excited about about Not Me. But I really enjoying myself watching this. I was really enjoying this bit, and that's what you're saying basically. And I got sucked in to this part for real.
Yeah, and then their opinions basically, Boone saying they're a couple and Chalet being in denial fits with
Well,
everything that
I
happens
thought this
later.
whole thing was really interesting because, like, the concept, isn't it? Like this whole fact that they're meant to be, or rather, Pun is meant to be the counterpart of the script writing team, who is the romantic thing, and he's never had a relationship, and then the person that he's relying on to help him doesn't believe in love. So it's like the way he's like, how are we gonna do this? Like, it's quite funny. So I love that they're.
It's not that he's not doesn't believe in love. It's more like he said he's not into love. He
Yeah.
doesn't like what love does to people.
Yeah. So, but and then
They
love
make
the
a
bit.
bet. They make a
Sorry.
bet. Oh, go
Yeah,
on.
well, they don't actually. That's the interesting thing because Flynn tries to get him to make a bet that they're really a couple, and he says, "What does he say? If whoever wins, the other person has to do whatever they say, basically." And because he's saying they're a couple, and Talo's saying they're
Mhm.
not a couple, and he says, "Let's make a bet," and Talo says no. So he
Well,
actually
it's
says
always
no.
like this, isn't it? With Tale protests, and then just he just
Gives in.
gives in to
Mm.
Poon, and he just goes along with whatever makes Poon happy.
Yeah. Well, he's following them, I guess, because at this point they're invested as well, and they follow them throughout the day, arguing about like what is indicative that they're dating and what isn't, and they follow them right into a movie theater. And I love how like Plyn is like they're definitely dating because they're eating popcorn out of the same bucket. And Tale is like, "Oh, friends can do that. We're doing that right now. We're sharing a bucket." And Plyn's
No,
like,
but
"Just
before that,
friends."
yeah, and before that, like they like look at him. He smiles a lot. Like they smile a lot. It means they're a couple, and we're meant to think like, oh, look, Quinn smiles a lot, and this means that he likes Tale, and it's like they're a couple. And then Tale says, "Oh no, but the outfit is too chill. This means they're not a couple." And we're looking at both of them, and like Tale looks so classy, and he's like dressed for a date, and then no, but the girl is pretty with makeup. The guy is paying, and then we see Poon paying for the both of them.
Mm.
So there's always something that happens to the couple, and then we meant to look at them and be like, "Yeah, do you know? Do you know? Are you aware?"
Of what you look like right now, yeah. But yeah,
Exactly.
and then we literally have that scene, as I said, where he says we're sharing the popcorn right now, like, and we're just friends, and Twin's like, just
Mhm.
friends, we could be boyfriends.
Yeah. If someone was following us, they think we were boyfriends.
But I think more he was referring to the fact that because they sort of had that conversation at the beginning of the episode where they were basically
Hmm.
like, if you're my person, I would be okay with that. What if it turns
Hmm.
out that that's how we should be? I feel like that's what
Hmm.
he's referencing here. Um, but yeah, and so then of course they're watching the couple. They've worked the couple. They work out that the couple is actually dating because the boy kisses the girl on the cheek, and it's so funny because I half expected Pun to do that to Tale. I don't know why. I was waiting for it. And I
I
was
mean,
like,
he did that. He did that in the last episode
I know,
already.
I know that, right? Which is funny, isn't it? Because now that you think about it, he's saying like, "Oh yes, they're definitely a couple now because of that."
Uh-huh.
Um, and so of course, now that they've got this resolution that oh yes, they're dating, and Quinn is like, "I won," and like, if it was me, I would be. If I was Tale, I would have been like, "I never agreed to this bet," but he's
Yeah.
just like, "Yeah, whatever." And he goes to leave because he's like, we haven't done any work. I thought you wanted to
Mhm.
work. And Pun is like, no, no, we paid for the tickets. Let's watch the rest of the movie. And then Tale proceeds to fall asleep.
But when sits so close to him, it's very cute. They're so childish, but they play off each other so well. It's like they go along with whatever the other one. Mostly Tale follows Pun's lead so easily. It feels very natural. It's clear that they have very good chemistry
Mm,
as a couple.
mm.
They're very pleasing. Like you believe that they're so sweet with each other, and it's very nice to watch them interact.
Well, it's funny because, as I said, he falls asleep. And then the movie ends and he wakes up. And Pun is like, I can't believe you actually fell asleep.
Hmm.
That movie was excellent. Like, it was superb.
Hmm.
Um, and Tale is like, I told you I'm not into love or something like that is what he says.
Hmm.
And then Pun goes, oh, but the confession scene was superb is what he actually says.
Yeah.
What the main character said during the confession scene. And he's like, oh, what did he say? And then he leans really close to him and talks about and says something like about from like the first time we've met, I've been fully in love with you.
Head over heels in love
Head
with
over
you.
heels, yeah, and he's so close. He's moved so much into Tale's space, personal space, and Tale is just like frozen, like a deer in headlights.
Oh, but
Uh,
this, he's playing with him. He's playing the confession, and it's nice. Tale freaks out, but it's not a good thing because for Tale, he basically fucks with his head, and he doesn't
oh,
know if what he does is genuine or he's just playing with him and he's being
yeah.
an actor.
Well,
And it's gonna
that's
be a
right.
problem later.
That's right, because he's a good actor. That's right, and he is, acting. And he says he's acting out the scene because when he says to him, "What are you
Hmm.
doing?" or something like that, he says, You asked me what he said. I'm acting out the scene, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, so but it's so funny because when I watched it, like, I understood why Tale might feel a certain way, because I definitely
Hmm.
felt a certain way watching that scene. I was just like,
Hmm.
it was definitely a make you kick your feet kind of scene. Yeah, so then he uses, and then once again, Tale wants to leave, and Pun uses his win of the bat to convince him to have dinner with him, which, as I said, is funny because Tale didn't actually agree to the bet, but he goes along with it anyway, as you were saying. And then we have a KFC ad.
But see,
I
they incorporated it in a very
I
creative
will
way. They
say
managed to,
I will
yeah,
say that this was very well done product placement,
right,
because they didn't
right.
mention the name. They didn't, like, it wasn't overly explicit. They talked, yes, they talked about the chicken, but they didn't talk about, oh, it's so delicious and like blah blah blah. I think the most we got was when Tale was holding the two pieces of chicken for Pun to decide which piece he wanted. He said, "Oh, it's hot," which makes you think, "Oh, look, when it gets delivered, it's still hot," right? Which is like, how often does your food arrive hot when you order delivery? It's pretty rare. Like, I mean, unless you live like 2 minutes from the shop or something, in which case you should have just
Yeah.
got out and got it yourself. But says the girl who walked. I like literally live around the corner from like a big name like chain takeaway food place, and I'm always Ubering from there because I'm lazy.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah. So anyway,
There's so much stuff going on. We are told so much through this scene. Like even after Tale says it's hot, Quinn says, "If I ask to get one piece of it, will you say I'm spoiling myself?" Which is a reference to the moment when he got arrested and Tale said, "You shouldn't be spoiling yourself. You should be living Popcorn's life."
yeah,
So
because
here
in that
it's showing
moment
that,
he would be doing something for himself, like he wants to do this with him for him.
yeah, and he wants Tale to like him and respect him and be proud of him. He doesn't want him to think badly of him. So he asks this. He cares. He wants him to care. And then we get the smart but lazy and enthusiastic and determined
Can I
description. They describe themselves.
can I just say about this, when they're talking, the bit when they're talking about the type of chicken that people choose to
Yeah.
eat and what it says about them, and
Uh-huh.
how uh Pun is teasing Tale about, the person who said that. Like, he's like, "You're the person who said that, right?" It
Uh-huh.
reminded me of a conversation we had in the last episode of this podcast where we were talking about C's eyes, and you were like, "Who said that, Zoe?" And I was like, "Wasn't it you?" And I just started laughing so hard because it was like an echo of our conversation. And I was just like, this is so funny to me. But yeah, and then the other thing is then, like, we get this whole, we had that bit that you're talking about where they're talking about the type of chicken and how it makes them,
Yeah.
represents them,
Yeah.
and they
And
both
then,
seem to be determined.
yeah, Poon wants to be more like Tale, so he wants to eat with him and share. And it's just like, oh God,
We get a
It takes the
montage.
piece
Yes.
a lot. Yes,
A
and oh my
montage of
God,
eating the chicken and feeding each other, and when
yes,
eating a chip out of Tale's mouth, and just like, okay,
exactly,
if people were watching them, they would definitely think they were dating. So
right?
yeah, and then, okay, and then the pinnacle
The
of this
child.
episode for me just happened. Are you ready?
Oh,
You'll
what
laugh
is
when
it?
when I get into it. So, okay, when the little boy came up to them with the lotus flowers,
Huh?
saying, "Do you want to give one of these to your lover?" And I'm just like, oh, in this universe, that's what you give instead of a
Mm-hmm.
rose.
Yeah.
You give a lotus flower, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I swear, my little "I will knock you" heart was like, oh, this is where
Oh.
this is where Nui belongs. This is where Nui came from, because 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 for him the lotus flower represents his heart. And I was like, "Oh wow, this made me smile so fucking hard." I was like, "Seriously? You are doing it right with a show if you give me 'I will knock you' vibes. Like, you're winning at life in Zoe Land if you give me 'I will knock you' vibes." And I was just like, I loved this so much. I was just like, the lotus flower. And then they're like, "This is the weirdest thing ever," which I thought was funny as well, because that was the exact same reaction. Um, that that Nui got when he tried to give the lotus flower to somebody because
Yeah,
it's the wrong
because in there,
flower.
apparently in this world, it's used for to worship Buddha.
Yeah, well, not in like in our world, yeah. For
Yeah.
you take it when you go to pray or whatever, as like an offering. So,
Yeah.
but in the universe that they're in, instead of giving a rose to your lover, you give the lotus flower. And as I said, in I Will Knock You in Nui, the character Nui's like world, it also represents his heart. So he would totally have dug this universe. And it just made me smile for the rest of the part.
But do you remember? Do you remember? I sent you when I was falling head over heels in love with the show. I sent you a voice message where I was like losing it a little bit because of the lotus flower, because something happened and the lotus flower was involved.
Or was
Do you
it
remember?
this?
You know that it's so good that you don't really remember stuff because
I don't
I
remember it. Do you
spoiled
know
so
what?
much.
It's so funny because there's two reasons why there's one of two reasons why I don't remember. One, either it didn't register because this I saw the visual representation of the lotus flower, like the
Uh-huh.
boy had them, so I like it
Mm-hmm.
registered to me like what he was talking about because. In
Mm-hmm.
my day-to-day life, I don't see a lot of we don't have a lot of lotus flowers in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's not, like if someone's talking about it, it probably would, like, I was listening, but I probably didn't really like put two and two together. In which case, if I'd seen it like I just did then, I had that reaction, I would have probably commented on it. And if I didn't, the other thing is you sent me a lot of messages that were like just animal noises, and I couldn't understand half of what you were saying. And I just was kind of like nodding my head
Sorry, not
along,
sorry.
going like, yeah, okay, that's cool, because like that's how you talk to a crazy person. And so it could have been one of the, if you were yelling about the lotus flower, potentially I may not have got lotus flower out of what you were saying. And I might have just been like, oh yeah, all right.
Great for you.
Yeah, good for you. Were you talking about this scene? Or is something else
I
happened
will,
with the lotus flower?
I will not tell you. You
Oh,
have to
something else
decide for
happens with the
yourself.
lotus flower then. Well, I'm excited because as you can just tell, the lotus flower did it
You
for me.
know, not necessarily because it's very subtle and you might not even notice it.
Well, maybe, but maybe now that I'm tuned
I
into
mean,
the lotus flower of it all.
I will make you notice it in case you
Oh
don't,
yeah, you'll be
but
like, "Did you notice this?" And I'll be like, "Nah."
never go
which
watch
is
it
how
again.
which is how most of our conversations go. And then I'm like,
Oh.
"But I did notice something really weird." That's not at all related to the story, and let me talk about it for 10 minutes.
My brain works in a very weird way.
I feel like your brain works normal analytical style, like a
Mm,
logical person, and
normal.
my brain works like a a squirrel locked in a garbage can trying to get out, and just is
Yeah,
just like
my brain bases the analytical logical stuff on delusions, so I don't know how normal that is, but
well, maybe the crazy person saying you're smart makes you also crazy.
this is how it works.
Yeah, this is it. This is the basis of our friendship. It's all good. It's like everyone should get you. You should all get you a friend who you think is like funnier, smarter, more sensible than you, even if it turns out you're both nut jobs.
Yeah, if you don't think that about your friend, you should get an friend.
But yeah, I was just the as I said, so with that the lotus flower just made it for me. Honestly, I was just like, well, I was enjoying this, but now I'm really enjoying this. But then I
I
saw the
really
lead
love
in
this.
for part
I love
4.
that. I love that you're having fun with this because you are so. No, don't talk. It will be the same. Look, the way it worked, they did it in a very smart way, and it was kind of cringy, but it
I,
worked, right?
I just saw the lead into it and I was like, what? That's happening now? I don't know that I'm ready for this. Somebody give me a lotus flower.
They eat you in with the chicken. You can handle it, Zoe. I believe in you. We can
In
do
the
this.
chicken, they were fully clothed.
Well, I can work that out. I have several ideas, and that we can talk about it. That we can explore uh,
I must
regarding
admit,
that scene. Mm.
I'm a little bit afraid of that sentence. I'm like, are you talking about what's about to come or about them eating chicken naked? Because, like,
Eating chicken. why? Why eating chicken naked?
because
They're done with the chicken.
would you say they're
We're
done with the
moving to
chicken?
the we're moving to the
Makeup remover.
makeup remover, exactly.
Yeah. So for people who don't know what we're talking about right now, there's a scene coming up with some product placement, makeup removal stuff, which I've
And
seen.
Zoe has been dreading it.
I'm just not that I've been dreading it, but I just saw a little clip of. There's a little clip of. If you've seen the
Uh-huh.
trailer for Vice Versa, there's like a
Oh,
snippet of it in the trailer, and when I watched the trailer, I was like.
oh,
I don't even remember what my reaction was, but inside my brain, it's just like going, "Oh no."
yeah, but you don't know that it's a product placement in the when you watch the trailer if you haven't watched the series. So
Oh look, I feel like I knew it was a product placement because like it just looked like it just why else would you do that? Like I don't know, it's a thing that looks like something that wouldn't happen.
why else? Why else would you? Well, we can talk about that after we watch the next part.
True. But yeah, I am having
Oh, but
fun.
also we have to say that Tale is thinks that this was a waste of time. This whole day was a waste of time,
Oh
and
yes, he did because
um,
he was like, we didn't do any work,
yeah.
nothing happened.
And then Pun takes out a notebook with notes, and he's like, no. When I get serious, I get the work done.
What I want to
So
know is how did he end up with like actual paper?
I don't know, was that actual paper or did it only look like actual paper?
It looked like paper. I don't know. It's a
I don't
mystery of the
know.
universe.
So then he's like, oh, we're going to your place now
Yeah, we
because
haven't finished
I say so.
working.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd made all these romantic observations, and now they're going back to his. It's so funny because Tale's reaction to that is just like abject horror, but like not in a I don't want to do it way, just in a like his brain short circuited or something, and
Yep,
he
yep.
doesn't know what to do next because
Hmm.
like basically he's basically what Pun has just said to him is we're going back to your apartment to do like romantic shit so I can take notes.
Yeah.
At least that's how I interpreted it, and I'm pretty sure that's how Tale interpreted it too. And my reaction to it was like, until I saw the lead in, and I was like, oh crap, it's that scene. And then, but Tale's reaction to that was like, and then Quinn had to say to me, coming or what? Like he didn't actually make that noise, but I'm pretty sure that's what was happening in his brain because that's like what it looked like on his face. Like he was just like, yeah. So,
Yep.
all right, well, let's
So
go and watch part 4.
let's go.
See if Zoe can survive the dreaded product placement scene in a bathtub.
I believe in you. I think that you should have developed an immunity to this stuff already.
We'll see. I'm in a good mood, so I may just think it's really funny. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go do
Let's
it.
see. Okay, let's go. Part 4.
4
How are
ads.
you? Still alive?
I am 4 ads later. Actually no, 4 ads before the show. 4 ads before the part 1 ad in the part. So like the KFC bit, which was what part 2? Oh, I can't remember.
That's right.
Yeah. So yes, I'm alive. um. So
Me
let's
too.
start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning.
Let's start. So everything is pink. I mean, the lights are pink in the apartment of the person who hates pink.
I know, right?
I'm guessing because Poon is there. So they talk about the movie that they're going to film, and Poon has the tagline: a romantic film about people who are single by choice and a mysterious challenge to check how much they cherish their love.
Ah, very poignant.
Just-
I'm guessing this is going to be a important. This seems important.
Yeah, of course. I mean, their movies, everything that they do, they're basing it on themselves and
Mm-mm.
on their experiences. So everything that we get to know about how they construct this movie is telling us how they see their story.
Yeah. And this whole like the mysterious challenge to check how much they cherish their love. Like the mysterious challenge is a mysterious challenge traveling to another universe.
I don't know what's the mysterious challenge in the movie,
Mm,
but in the series,
yes.
probably. Which is something that he borrows from. He borrows Tale's words,
Yeah.
single by choice.
By
And
choice.
Tale, yeah, Tale is pleased to hear that. And he liked the tagline. And it's nice because it means Spoons listens to him. And
Mm.
then Tale says, I'm so lucky to have you. And
Not only listens to him but sees value in what he has to say.
yeah. And he just keeps saying how lucky he is for having Tale there and how and he keeps thanking that him he definitely attributes his success to Tale's help. He thinks he is well because Tale is there.
Mm-mm. He's the key. Pardon the pun. Pardon the pun.
So, but Tale is like, no, you're done, so go home. But Pun is not done. He wants to work on the presentation and he wants Tele to check up the layout. So he's staying there while Tele is going to take a shower. And the scene started, and I remembered how I don't know this scene is in the novel. I don't know if it's something that they introduced here, and I don't know
So they could
how
do
what
product placement.
I don't know what inspired the novel. But the thing is that um it reminded me. I was watching this scene. I was like, oh, they're in the fucking bathroom. Because remember, the screenwriters, two of the screenwriters from Vice Versa are the screenwriters of Dangerous Romance.
Yeah. And we had a
Vice
not
Versa
a
and
different
Michelle.
scene, but a similar scene as well in Dangerous Romance where they're in the tub together. Um,
Yeah.
and
Or
I
at least
thought,
they're boyfriends.
do you know what's interesting too? Because and I feel like this is important. This is gonna turn into a little bit of a like a Dangerous Romance rant, but not really. In that
Hmm.
people were so critical about the interactions between Perth and Shimon as Kang and Salom in Dangerous Romance, not like forgetting the fact that they were teenage boys still in high school. So I feel like it's important to note that like in their scene, Perth climbs in the tub, but he has like his like underwear on still,
Hmm.
which makes sense, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
For the scene, for their age, for like what's
Yeah.
happening in their relationship at that time. But I remember seeing like crap about it and me thinking like, you do realize they're just like boys, right? And then
Hmm.
in this scene, we have Putin get in the tub with Tale completely naked, we
Of
assume.
course.
And the difference is they're grown men.
Yeah.
Is there a boundary being crossed here by like doing that? Kind of, but it's a little bit weird because basically Pun lets Tale know what he's going to do, and Tale
Hmm.
is a bit like, I don't think so. And he's like, close your eyes because
The
I'm going
close
to
your
take
eyes
off
is
my
a
clothes.
trust exercise, right? It's a
It
trust
is.
exercise. You
It is.
wouldn't close your eyes if you don't trust that person in front
No,
of
but
you. And he obviously,
it's also an acceptance of
yeah,
like him to
exactly.
get in the tub because he
Yeah.
sort of says he's going to do that and he's like no, go home, like kind of thing, and he's like no,
Hmm.
no, and then he sort of says to him close your eyes, you know. so that I can get in. And so he
Yeah.
does. He closes his eyes. So that's a formal acceptance, basically, because he lets go and does what he wants him to do. He could
Yeah.
choose not to, but he does. So the
The
boundary,
water is
although
pink.
the bathwater is pink, yeah, I noticed
Yeah.
that. But I just have to say, like, before we got put in the bathroom when we just had Tale, I'm so disappointed in myself. But like the first thing I thought, and it's exactly the same thought I had. I'm going back to Dangerous Romance again. It's the exact same thought I had with uh, Shimon, and then with Perth in the last episode scene in the bathtub, where
Mhm.
the first thing I thought in all of those scenes was, and then there were nipples, and
Yeah.
then Pun climbs in, and there were more nipples. But
No,
anyway,
but like I like him because he's like, oh no, I must work more. I have so much work. Like you need to check it out. And then he's like, oh no, but it's too late to go home now. I'll just crash here,
yeah,
and I
I'll just
should
have
take
a
a bath
bath.
with you.
Yeah, I'll just have a bath with you, and then we'll go to bed. It's like, okay, who's doing what now? With the what? And so this
And then
this
he,
is
when he climbs in, he's like he strikes a pose. It's like, oh, does this attract you? Are you shy? What is going on? The person who doesn't want to strike a pose suddenly looks like he's ready for a
photo
full-on
shoot.
photo shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, because and it's funny because it's like he's forgotten he's not in his body as well, because he's acting like he is. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like, I
Mhm.
know that like people think this looks attractive, so I'm gonna do this and
It's funny that you say
make you
that
think this looks attractive.
because I had this thought that they brought this bathtub is basically this bubble where they're the closest to being themselves that they can possibly can in this universe.
Because they're naked.
Because they're naked, because they're there together, because it's a pink bathtub, a bathtub with pink water, because they are isolated in this private space,
Because there are
and
nipples.
there are nipples. Yes, they forget about privacy and they seek togetherness.
Yeah, I must admit, I sat and watched a good portion of this scene with my hand over my mouth. I'm not really sure what it was there for. Like, I don't know its purpose, but I was afraid to take it away because I wasn't sure what was going to come out of my mouth.
Nipple talk.
Possibly nipple talk, maybe like weird, creepy, like chuckling. I don't know. Some sort of other commentary, like screams of horror. I don't know. I was not sure what was going to come out of my mouth, but I didn't even realize I was doing it until sort of like midway through the scene, and I went to take my hand away, and I was like made the conscious decision to leave it there. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so we basically have
Uh,
Tale in the tub. Pun comes in, sees Tale is asleep, tries to wake
mhm,
him, is unsuccessful, and then like wets him with the tap water. And
mhm.
then they have a back and forth discussion. And as you said, he tries to send him home. Instead, he ends up climbing in the tub. So then they're both in the tub. And it's really funny too, because the way Pun is like, oh, this is such a big tub. I can see why you would fall asleep. And then proceeds to like
Oh my
really
god.
let himself go and become relaxed.
Yeah, because falling asleep while you're naked, closing your eyes, you were in this bathtub with another person in their house.
Mm.
That's a lot. That's a
Oh yeah,
lot of
he's definitely being very vulnerable in this scene and like actively doing it.
yeah.
Um and it's
Oh,
so
and the
funny.
line, forget about privacy and seek togetherness. And it's like, yeah, for the movie, of course. Like everything he does, he uses the movie as a justification right now because I guess he's not brave enough to try to be direct with Tele because he might be afraid that Tele will directly
Reject
um
him.
reject him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all kind of do that, don't we? I mean, especially when it's a new thing. you know, if you like someone or something and you're not sure about how they feel in response to that, we use excuses. Like we make up stuff. We like test the waters. So he's testing the waters, and like he can do it using the film as backup. He does it using his acting with this flirty joke thing, which, as you said, can like backfire later because you don't know if that person's being serious or not. But he's
Yeah.
it's a safety mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And so of course then he's like in this super relaxed pose, and we get Tale just like looking at him. And I understand. I just looked at him as well. I understand the urge and the desire. Um
The
but it
desire to touch him, I guess, because he reached out and he wanted to do something to him.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, once again, I just mentioned like using excuses to do things, and I guess
Yeah.
this is one way to do that. Like, wanting to. Sometimes you see something and you think, wow, that's so beautiful. Is it really real?
Mm.
Right? And I feel like he was having a that moment in this scene where he was like, is this real? Is this really happening? And the way to check really is to take I why don't know why, but my mouth wants to say to taste it. To
Mhm.
touch it. No tasting happened in this scene. At least I don't think so.
You know
Is to touch it.
Bex had a very interesting idea. Bex, as by all accounts, this doesn't make sense from Tumblr. It's pretty clear what Poon does to Tale's heart, right?
Mm.
But the moment when Tale wipes the dust off of Poon's face, I never really thought about it. I never put any meaning to it. But she said, what if this is related to Poon wearing a mask? So Tale needs to open his heart to have it ready to fall in love, while Poon needs to let go of his mask. He needs to be himself and be sincere and trust.
Well, it could be that, and it could also be like because okay. So Tale takes the makeup Nivea. Let's mention it. Why don't we? Let's give him a shout out. Nivea makeup remover and a makeup remover pad. I don't know what they're called. They have a name.
Cotton
I
pad.
think that cotton pad. That's it. Thank you. And like starts wiping his face. First, he squirts a whole heap of it in his face by accident, which wakes him. I'm using air quotation because he wasn't asleep. He was
Mhm.
just, you know. And when he says to him, "What are you doing?" Tale says, "Like it's really dusty here. I'm cleaning your face. It's just as dusty in this universe as it is in ours." And so, and I believe like dust, they mean like pollution and stuff, I think.
Mhm.
And so he proceeds to like clean his face because he's like, "Why are you doing this? I'm not wearing any makeup or anything." And so it's funny that you mentioned that and that Bex mentioned that. But you could also see it as Tale like trying to like wipe away the mask as well because
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
no, yeah, I know, but like I don't mean from Pun's point of view that he needs to do that. I mean just like from Tale's point of view because what he's looking at, like we're seeing Jimmy, like we're seeing Pun, but he is seeing Tun. So
Hmm.
like, and he knows that this is not the face. Like this is
Yeah.
not, you know what I mean? So like, not just a metaphysical mask of like letting his guard down from Pun's point of view, but like actually like wanting to like Tale wanting to see the real him, and not just like not just kind of about like getting closer, but just like actually seeing who he really is, like physically as well as, you know what I mean, personality wise. And so
Yeah, you're
because of
right.
course he does
She might
he's
she might have mentioned that as well. I don't remember.
okay.
But it does make a lot of sense, especially because we know, I know you suspect, but come on, that Queen will try to hold on to this life, and the mask that he's wearing, besides the mask of coolness and the actor mask that he has from his own life, he will be wearing the mask of Pacorn,
Mm,
because he will want his life to make
yeah.
his life his own.
Well, I mean, if you think about it from his point of view, it makes sense because like in this universe, he has friends. I'm guessing he's going to get really into what they're doing. so he's going to have something that he's enjoying doing. Like, he may have enjoyed being an actor at some point, but I get the impression from the fact that he basically killed himself that he had lost the joy in that. Or if he still had joy from it, it was very little in comparison to the fact that he didn't have any other joy. And he has Tale. So he has friends, he has relationships, he has this thing that he likes doing, and he has Tale. Like, what's to go back for? I mean, obviously Tale wants to go back there, but like, in his mindset, this universe is better because it has all these things.
Yeah,
So it makes sense for him to want to hold on, honestly.
it
Um,
does.
yeah. And so, of course, so he lets Tale wipe his face basically and says to him, give me a pad and I'll wipe your I'll do you, sort of thing. And to which Tale replies, I've already done mine, like, of course. Like, I'm clean.
But
um
he does that after, while cleaning Poon's face. Poon keeps looking at him,
oh yeah.
and he has this very cute smile on his face, and things are going on in his head. And it's Tale is feeling stuff, but he doesn't want to face the things that he's feeling, and so he backs off and he's like, "Why are you looking at me? What do you want from me?" And basically, Poon is like, "Isn't this obvious? Like, this should be obvious why
Mm.
I'm looking at you." So then he proceeds to treat Tale's heart, because his
it's
heart should have helped him understand what was happening at that moment.
it's interesting too, because I feel like when he says to him, "Why are you looking at me?" or something like that, or "Why are you looking at me like that?" or whatever, he the sweet smile on Poon's face turns into like a kind of a cocky smile, almost like a, not a cocky, cocky's the wrong word, but like, more calculated. Like, like I
Hmm.
said, he's thinking about it, and he's like, he has this
Hmm.
idea, like,
Hmm.
it's a challenging smile almost.
Hmm.
And so he talks Tale into giving him one. And so
Hmm.
I have two questions. Where did the one that he was using to wipe Fun's face go? Because suddenly it's just disappeared. Anyway, that's just that.
maybe they maybe they really did eat them. I don't know.
It's funny because got a note here that says they didn't eat the makeup pads, because yeah, earlier today I was listening to the podcast episode that I'm currently uploading for today, and we had talked about, like, the we briefly talked about this scene, because I'd seen it in the trailer for this episode. And
Mhm.
I was like, what happened to the, and she's like, they ate him, okay. I don't think they got eaten, but I was just like, it was really
Mm.
weird because I was like, where did it go? Because suddenly he's just sitting there, and yeah, Tale uses the makeup wipe to, like, like wipe over his chest. And it's funny,
Mhm.
I must admit, from the trailer and that, it was very, like, corny and cheesy, and I was like, what on earth in the world of product placement is happening right here? But
Mhm.
I will say that I'm a fan of this scene because of what happens in this moment here. And the
I know,
reason
right? I know,
yeah,
right?
they did a very clever thing here, in
I
that
told
this,
you.
yeah, okay. In this idea of, he tells Tale that if this makeup remover is really good at clearing out dust or cleaning off dust, that he's going to use it to wipe the dust off his heart, because his heart hasn't been used for a long time. And then he says about how he hopes he can use it for the film. Like, it's so
Yeah.
clear, like, once again he's using that as an
Mhm.
excuse. He
Mhm.
wants to open his heart. He wants him to open his heart to, as you said,
But
what's going on between them.
also, when he finished that question for the romantic, use it on romantic movies, and then he says Chalet, and he makes it very personal by calling him by his name.
Mm-mm.
Even though he mentions that, oh yeah, this is for movies, but then he says Chalet, and
And you can
it's
tell as well by, like, the expression on his face that he's not talking about the
yeah.
films. Like, it's just it, and I also, it's very obvious, I feel like, from Tale's reaction too, that he knows that that's not what he's talking about. At least that's how
Yeah.
it feels to me. Like he feels exposed in this
Hmm.
scene, and not because they're just both sitting in the tub naked. And then the thing that frustrated me the most out of this is we have this like super like kind of, I guess, romantic and pivotal, funny to say, I'm gonna say pivotal scene given it was a product placement scene, but pivotal scene. And then it goes straight to the next day where they're doing their approval for the script meeting thing with Tessa's father. And I'm like, okay, so but how did they get out of the tub? Who slept where? Did Quinn sleep with his shoes on again? Was he completely naked but left his shoes on? Like, inquiring minds wanted to know, like, how did they get out? Did they both climb out of the tub with like their eyes closed? Were they stumbling around? No one could see what was happening. Accidental butt grabbing. It's like, I don't know. Who knows what happened? We will never know what happened. It went straight to the. It was like reading an old romance novel where it was just, yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting, and then you turn the page and there's a row of stars and it's the next fucking day. Like I'm
Chapter.
guessing
Next
nothing.
chapter.
Obviously nothing happened, but it was just
Hmm.
funny that we had this like really meaningful scene, and then it was like the next day. I
Yeah.
don't think it missed anything or anything. I'm just being funny.
I was just thinking that actually by being like that, by justifying the things that he does with it's being for romantic movies, he gives Tele a safe space to explore what he's feeling. But at the
Yes.
same time, it can work against him as well because Tele is someone who will oscillate between maybe this is real, but maybe I shouldn't
Mm-mm.
dive into this. Maybe it's not, you know?
Yeah. He needs to be told outright, but at the same time, he's a bit like a skittish horse that you're trying to train. You don't want to like just throw the saddle on there and try and climb
Yeah.
on because it's a bad metaphor. I started
Or
saying it.
maybe it's a
I
good one.
I started saying it, and I was like, I was about to get to the writing part, and I was like, yeah, this is not where I meant to go, but you understand what I'm saying. I know everybody understands what I'm saying, but like it's just you have to, with someone like him, you have to tread carefully, but then at the same time, you don't want to tread too lightly because
Hmm.
he's not going to take you serious either. Because he's
Yeah.
someone who values commitment and like being well, yeah, being committed to something, but also being like focused and like he puts importance on those things. And so if you're just always like joking about it, or
Genuinity.
yeah,
He also values genuinity.
and so if you
Is there
just,
such a word?
I have no
Is it
idea,
a
but
word?
I don't know, but I knew what you meant. But he's yeah, so he's not going to put the same weight if he thinks you're, or he's not sure if you're joking or being like playful or whatever. He wants the serious moments as well. Like this
It's
was a,
genuinity. It's genuinity, not genuinity.
but like in this scene, for example, this scene, even though he
Sorry.
mentioned the film, that's all right. Even though he mentioned the film, like he was genuine about what
Yeah.
he was saying. Like this wasn't him being funny or making a joke. Like he was very serious when he was like, I feel like this, your heart is covered and you need to like bring it out, and use it like for you and for the good of the world.
Yeah.
Like, like he was genuine when he was saying that. So he needs that. He needs more of that than like the jokey flirty stuff, because like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
making him feel a certain way and like making him flustered or whatever, but it's
Mm.
long term. Yeah, you can tell that that's not something he will trust.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then we had the scene the next day where, as I said, they're at the 26 pictures. Is that what it's called? 26
Yep.
something.
Hmm.
And they're talking about their script.
Yeah,
And
and the dad accepts the script. And then we have the scene in the bathroom where Tessa's dad talks to Telly in private. He tells him, "Look, there are some issues, but basically it's a good script and you can proceed. You should work on it and then we can proceed with the other things that need to be done."
casting,
And
etc.
Yeah, he's proud of his son. His son is finally doing something.
I feel like even if like this was, and I'm not saying that it is because obviously
Mm.
that's not the point of this story, but like I feel like even if it was like the shittest script ever, the fact that his son was like finally turning up to work and it
Yeah,
was invested in something, he would probably invest in it anyway because it's like a step in the
yeah,
right direction in regards to that. But
yeah.
yeah, as you said, I feel like there's some pride there because clearly this has some like there's good things about it.
Yeah, there's definitely that part with him accepting it because he sees that Tess is invested is probably there as well.
Mm.
And Spoon is listening, is he's eavesdropping, and he's so happy to hear that. See, we see him sigh with relief.
Mm. He's so
And
lucky because so often you should never eavesdrop, especially in dramas, because you almost
Mhm.
never hear anything good. So the fact that this was a successful eavesdropping operation is, you know,
Yeah, this means so much to him now. He
well,
actually worked on the script. It means that he is on the right track with
he has a purpose.
Popcorn's life. He is fixing things with the friends. He can spend more time with Tale, and Tale will be proud of him.
Mm.
And then
And
we get
then
that very cute moment where they celebrate together and they throw the papers into the air.
it's
And
so funny because that you bring that up because I was just about to mention that too. So the scene where the script gets approved and they throw it up in the air, it looks more like tracing paper than transparency paper. You know, like it has substance to it. And so I'm
Mhm.
like, hmm, maybe there's like a
Hmm.
great maybe in this world there's like a gradient of transparency. Like you can get like maybe like really high quality paper is like see through and like the stuff that's like not like more opaque is like cheaper or something. You know, like here it's like the opposite. The stuff that's like really thin and like starts to if you hold up to light you can see through it is like the really
Yeah,
cheap like whereas like you get the nice thick cardstock is like the expensive stuff.
yeah.
Um or maybe they just forgot what they were doing like halfway through and just gave them like normal paper. I don't know.
But maybe
um
there are just too many pieces of paper to have them all being transparent.
Yeah, true. Um, but yeah, and it's so funny. Like, so then we have the scene where they're pulled up in front of Tale's apartment building and they're on the motorbike,
Yeah.
and I lost it. I lost it so hard because like, and it's so funny because like we get a response to like why of this like at the end of the episode, but like when I'm because don't forget I haven't seen it. I'm very clear
Hmm.
now that I have not seen episode 3. And so I'm
Uh-huh.
watching it and as I'm watching it and I made notes, I'm
Hmm.
like, I lost it so hard because I'm like, he's like, we've been pulled up here for a long time. Like, are you getting off anytime soon, sort of thing?
Uh-huh.
And Tale's like, give me time to put my stuff away. And I was like, what stuff do you have out when you are riding on the motorcycle? Like, what exactly are you putting away? Like, these are my notes, right? I'm like, seriously? What are you putting away? Um, and so at the time I was just like, what is he doing? Like, seriously, like, is he just sitting there for like the sheer joy of it? But yeah, so then
Yeah.
he can't get his helmet off.
Yeah. Tale thanks Boone for the ride. Boone thanks Tale for everything. And then again, he mentions how lucky he is to have Tale in his life, and
Or how shy does Tale get in response?
but still he responds
Mm-mm.
because I feel like he's very receptive to Boone's needs,
Mm.
and he feels how vulnerable he is in this moment and how sincere he is, and so he cannot just pretend that he did not hear it. He has to be just as vulnerable. There's actually parallels at the beginning of the episode where Boone was like, "Oh, and what if we are each other's sport keys?" And Boone is like, "I'd be okay with this."
Mm.
And then Tale responds that, "Okay, I'd be okay with this too." Somehow, I don't know, I cannot really explain this, but it feels similar to me.
It does because he's a little bit shy when he says that too, as well, in that scene too. But like this was more so. This was kind of like, coy
I feel
is
like
the
this is more so because this is Boone making the first step.
yeah maybe, but yeah, and it's like I want to say the word is I want to say coy, but that's not the right word for how he behaves. But it's kind of in the right like
Mm.
It's in the right area. Um, and I think maybe it's even because he's still got the helmet on and he kind of like is sort of
Awkward.
trying to like hide. Yeah, it's awkward and he's trying to like hide inside the helmet, kind of like as he's responding. Um, but it just makes him look like a little kid, kind of almost. I don't know. I don't quite know how to
Yeah.
word it, but yeah.
And they're just messing with each other because Boone glued the helmet. So that's all
Well,
they can do.
he said he did, but like, how do you do that when when he's wearing it? Like, how would you get away with that? So, I wonder if it was just jammed and he just said that like to be funny. Do you know what I mean?
Well, if
Like,
you
this,
put glue on that thing, and then when the person talks that whatever thing, it it dries off. It depends. I feel like it's
yeah,
possible.
yeah, maybe. I also just feel like it's possible that it may have just got jammed and he's just like, because he seems like the kind of person who would be like, oh yeah, I totally glued it, so like now you have to wear it forever. Like,
It makes me feel like he did do that because we had that thing. Well, oh, you're not the only one who does things. So it's an exchange of playfulness. They
true.
both
It's a
play with
bit
each
like the
other.
kisses in episode 2. It's episode 2, isn't it, with the kisses?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, and so because of course he goes upstairs and finally gets it
Oh
off.
no, but before that, he says, and Quinn says, "Tele, I promise, I'll do my best, like we
Yeah.
talked."
Mm.
And it feels like he decided to do that because of really, really because of Tele. Like he does it for him because he
Mm.
wants Tele to stay by his side, and this feels like the only way that he can do that. Or maybe he just really wants his approval.
Yeah, and I think as well, like he knows how important it is to Tale too,
Yeah,
and Tale got like approval from Tessa's father. Like, so like he knows that he wants to do well in Tessa's world, like in Tessa's
yeah.
life. And so by getting that moment, by having that moment, and especially if it's not something he would have had either in his personal life, like Pun, like he's gonna understand the value of that being a successful moment between, say, like father and son or whatever. So like that probably factored into it as well.
And he says, "And I live town's life to the fullest, to the best with you."
Yeah,
And
the
I'm
with you
reading
bit,
here,
yeah.
I can do it. I believe I can do it because I have you, which
Mm-hmm.
is just ah,
Yeah.
the words. And then they pinky swear.
Yeah, which is very cute.
It is cute.
It's funny
And
because
so,
they do these things, as I said, I mentioned before about like how Tale was like a little kid almost. And it's like you think
mhm,
about it, they kind of are a little bit. Like they've got training wheels on because they've both never done this before. Like this is like new, you know, like
mhm.
it's all new for them. Like it's like
Besides the fact that
they
you become a bit of a child and become very vulnerable when you're with the person that you're falling in love with, or a person that you're very comfortable with. It's also a first for them.
yeah,
So
that's right. They've not had that sort of experience before. So they have as I said, they have training wheels on.
and then Tale climbs to his apartment and he's taking out the helmet, and the writing on his helmet, which is something that looks like it's a factory thing, says, "The one wearing this is cute," and he remembers
Well, it could be a
that.
sticker as well. Like it could have been something that like he added to it, like a sticker or
Maybe.
whatever. Mm.
Yeah.
Because you
And
get the
then
impression from what he says, where he says like, like, oh, I'm not the only one who does things secretly or whatever, like that he, if he did, it's almost like if Pun put glue on it, the purpose was for him to wear it home when when they were like not together, so that this was
mhm,
not something that happened in front of him.
mhm.
It's like, like if you give you give your crush a letter and they go to open it, you're like, no, read it later. Like you don't want them to stand there and read it in front of you because that's like super awkward and embarrassing. It's almost like he did that but with the helmet. So like if he did glue it shut or whatever, then like he was expecting this moment to happen where he would go home, take it off, and then see this thing that potentially maybe he put on there, or like he bought this helmet with this thing on it that like otherwise Tale would not have noticed it.
This is so freaking cute.
And then we get the scene. We get the memory of him being like,
The
because he says, "Oh, you're not
explanation.
the yeah." He's like, "You're not the only one who can be sneaky," or something like that. And
Hmm.
then yeah, we get the explanation of like what he had to put away. So his questions were answered because he had to put away his texter or his pen, whatever you want to call it, because he had also written something on the back of Puin's helmet. And do you have the exact wording?
He wrote "You're so great," but I read it as a good job. I think it's
Yeah,
meant to be some
it's
kind
like
of a
a
good
gold
job.
star from the teacher.
Yeah, good boy.
Yeah,
You
good
did great.
boy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what he was doing back there on the back of the bike. So that was kind of cute and kind of funny. But yeah, it was actually more funny to me, I think, because my reaction had been like, "What exactly have you possibly got out that you've got to put away?" That you're like, because I'm thinking, I was thinking logically, like you're having a motorcycle ride, or I think in their case, it's like a scooter or something. But like it's not like you're gonna be like driving along with, your wallet and your phone and like I don't know, whatever else in your hand. A chocolate
Did
bar.
you
Like
not?
you don't a bottle of water. You don't have a bunch of stuff. Like when you're in a car, you start like pulling crap out of your bag while someone's driving you along. Maybe you do pull up somewhere and you've got to shovel that crap back in there. But like on the back of a bike, that was what I was thinking. So it was even
Mhm.
funnier to me later on when it's like, oh, okay, he did actually have something he had to do.
Did you not expect to get an answer to this question? What the
I
hell he was
honestly,
doing
I wasn't really like, yeah, I just didn't, nothing, it didn't occur to me at all. Like, I,
there?
the way that scene
Well,
ended, like, did not occur to me.
I'm glad you got your answer.
Yeah.
But do you feel satisfied? Do you feel satisfied?
Yeah, it was funny.
Good.
um,
It's a really cute scene.
yeah, it is cute. It is cute.
Hmm.
So, and then of course I do what I do every week, which is like
Which
watch the
I
trailer.
don't do ever.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for next week, so next week looks interesting as well. So next week's episode 4. So what did we say in our grand scheme of we have this theory, don't we, like about like what happens at what episode? So what's episode 4 again?
Well, usually episode 4 is the falling in love episode, but I feel like they're beyond that because
I
this
but
was
I,
quite instant for them.
yeah, but like there's definitely obviously going to be levels to it, and I feel like
Mm.
from what I saw in the trailer it looks like that fits with the falling in love with episode. At least it looks like that they're addressing it kind of.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Starting to be aware of being in love.
Yeah. And now I'm
Mm.
super curious. Now I want to watch episode 4 of Not Me as well. So bad. Because I legit don't remember what happens in that episode. I'm so
Next
confused.
week.
I know, right? It's a whole week away. This is so cruel. We were so mean to do this to ourselves and everyone
It
else. I feel like
is
I
what
feel like
it
once again we might need to get our pens out and write like a formal apology. I don't know.
is.
Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Like, I mean, it's definitely we're having fun, that's for sure. So, but it's also a little bit torturous.
It is. So I guess this is it.
I think the only thing I wanted to say is that I'm really curious. I think I'm going to try and pay a bit more to attention to the colors and stuff when like certain pivotal scenes are happening because I'm curious to know. And
Well,
it's
there's obviously a lot of meaning assigned to the colors, especially because Tale is a colorist, and every
yeah,
episode
and
has
a
a
color.
color name. And yeah, and there's the color that is the name of the episode is omnipresent in the episode, and then they wear that color a lot. And also, but the colors that we get to know that mean something are also used again in the series. For example,
Mm.
pink, we know that it means something. Blue, it certainly means something. Green.
We think it means something. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. The this episode too, I noticed like we had. I mean, look, if you were really, really, really getting down to the pigments and you were trying to like, I mean, I don't know, but there was a lot of times where Quinn wore colors that were, yeah, like more like pink adjacent than pink. Like he wore like a beige like kind of like almost brown color, which I'm guessing is meant to be on the spectrum of pink, but really isn't. And then
Hmm.
he wore a red t-shirt, which like I guess if depending on what kind of like eyes you were looking at it, what lighting, what other colors you paired
Hmm.
it with could have pink like undertones to it, but it was
Hmm.
definitely red. But it was fairly consistent that Tale in this episode wore pink pretty much all the way through. Like even if the shades were really pale or whatever, they were very, very obviously pink and not couldn't be mistaken for another color like some of the stuff that Pun had worn. And I thought that was interesting too. So I was
It
wondering
feels
like
like he dresses to match with Tali.
I feel like Tale is dressing to match the way he's feeling, and the way he's feeling is like falling in love.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because this episode, it was the pink was more about him than it was about Fun. Except in the beginning, like you said, that the light was shining on him first, which could indicate that whole like there was that saying, this person fell in love first, but this person fell harder. But like just the who fell in love first for a bit, or
Well,
who
it's
started falling
debatable.
first.
It's debatable with them who fell first and who fell harder. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, no. Well, I'm not suggesting it's that way, but I'm just like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean. Like we got a little bit of it, like it was like he was the focus in the beginning, but then it shifts, and it's
Yeah,
very
because Tale was in denial in the beginning, and then he got Poon frustrated, and so there was green.
there was the conversation they had, and then after that he was the
Yeah.
pink. Yeah. So it's once again interesting, use of colors and stuff. So looking forward to see how they do that for the rest of the show too.
Or maybe it's not even about. Maybe it wasn't about Poon. Maybe it's like the color pink is haunting them. It's always there. It's always present because it's a sign of what's to come, or it's a sign of what they truly are for each other, no matter how they see the situation at the moment that we are watching them.
Yeah. True. 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 Could be. Could be. Could be.
Yeah, it depends on the way you want to interpret it.
Yeah. As I said, it that's definitely some. It could definitely be that, but I feel like I don't know. I just have this vibe that it's like it seemed very deliberate in this episode specifically as well that they were dressed. As I said, you're right. Flynn was dressed complimentary, but Tale was very pink, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It just felt intentional.
Well, it does, of course, Zoe, yes. I agree with you 100%. It was intentional. Of course, it was intentional.
No, but do you know what I mean? Like more
Well,
leaning
I mean,
towards
to the
the
fucking call. We start the series. The first scene is him telling,
palace.
describing himself as a colorist, or how much color, how important color is
Mm.
in his life. So yeah.
Do we ever get him tell Flynn what color he thinks he should be or whatever?
Oh yeah, I think there is a scene like that
Because like at the
about them
beginning where he's
having
at the
each
job
other.
interview and he like tells the guy that he's like shit brown.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will eagerly await for that as well because I'm curious to know what that will be.
All right then. Thank you for hanging out with us. Follow us on Tumblr, on Twitter, Spotify. Interact with us.
Yes, and we have a Ko-fi if anyone's interested in donating. The link is in the post. Bye for now.
Bye.